The Hangout on air is now live. So welcome Kartik and welcome everyone to the people who are going to see this. Today we have another special guest, and today this time we have one of the co-founders of a software that you guys have to really know about, that's called TeamSlide. We have the co-founder here. Who better than someone from the people who created this software to be with us today? So Kartik, can you please give us a bit more information about you?
Hi, Boris. Thanks for taking the time to connect. I appreciate you including us.
Absolutely.
I appreciate you including us among your presentation colleagues. It's very exciting to be part of this video.
Yeah, thank you.
As for my background, so I think similar to you, I have a technical background. I'm a former engineer. I have a graduate degree in actually bioengineering. When I was finishing up my degree, I realized I wanted something a little different, perhaps something in the business world. And I was fortunate to get a position with a management consulting firm. And I worked with them for about 3 years in both Atlanta and London. So I did some management consulting. And after that, I took the natural step and left. And I joined Cisco to join their corporate strategy team. So I was part of the strategy team for several years before leaving and launching TeamSlide.
And that's in the States, right?
That's in the States. So after finishing up consulting in London, we moved back to the States, moved to California. And I'm based in Mountain View now.
Okay, and then you founded TeamSlide.
Yeah, so my co-founder, Claudius, he had reached out. The company name is actually called Aploris, A-P-L-O-R-I-S, and we first started with a data visualization tool. It's a tool that helps you make better charts in PowerPoint. And then later we released TeamSlide as well.
Okay, so what a change from management consulting to a software that is connected and related to PowerPoint and presentations. How about that? Why did that happen?
Yeah, you know, as a management consultant, and my co-founder Claudius was one as well, we essentially lived in PowerPoint. You know, on an hourly basis, we would make slides for a wide range of projects. It was, you know, it didn't count unless it was on a slide. And so as we were working with PowerPoint, we realized that there were many inefficiencies that had major drawbacks on productivity and had major implications. And so we got to see firsthand some of the issues.
Yeah.
When every time you make a new presentation, you typically want to start with an old slide, whether it's a template or a framework or a piece of analysis. Usually there's a seed that you start with, but finding that slide was always a painful process. You know, either I'd have to spend time figuring out our content management system to go in and find things, or I'd rummage through a shared drive, or I'd IM colleagues or email them. And after all of that, maybe I got an old version of the slide. Maybe I couldn't find the slide at all, and then that would mean last minute I'd be creating content which was not, you know, which is suboptimal. And really, TeamSlide was born out of that need.
Yeah. Okay. So in general, wow, I can hear myself very. Anyway, so in general, what is TeamSlide doing?
Sure. So TeamSlide is a slide library solution that keeps your organization's content, it basically organizes it and makes it easily available for the end user. So it's always at your fingertips. Actually, you can find that content directly from PowerPoint. So you don't even have to alt tab and go anywhere else. Within PowerPoint, you can run a search and find that specific slide, visual, template, chart that you need, and simply click on it to pop it into your presentation.
Yeah, so in general, because I'm sure that people will be kind of it will be strange for them when they hear that. But in general, you have like an add-in inside PowerPoint in which you can search for another slide or part of a slide that was created before, and you can just use it again.
Exactly. You know, I think when you're in PowerPoint already, because you're there to make your slides anyways, it didn't make sense to have them go anywhere else to find slides. I mean, after all the editing capabilities are within PowerPoint. And, you know, one of our capabilities is building add-ins. And so we were able to build a PowerPoint add-in which essentially opens up within PowerPoint, and so that you can search for slides while keeping your main presentation in view also. And so you can do both at the same time and balance out both the tasks and find the specific information that you need.
Yeah, so any restrictions in terms of the PowerPoint version, edition, or?
No, so the add-in largely works with Windows, and we're not yet compatible with Mac. I think we're waiting for Microsoft to create the hooks on the Mac side before we can recreate the same experience. On the PC side, I think we go back several versions now. I'm trying to think what the number is, but we haven't run into a customer that's had any issues with an old version. So I think chances are that the version of PowerPoint you have now will be fully compatible.
It will be working. So
yeah.
A question here is that, okay, if I can search those slides or those charts or those images, then where are those objects sitting? Are they in the cloud? Where are they?
Yeah, so there are three primary components to TeamSlide, and I think we just talked about the add-in, which is the interface for most users. There's also a back-end server. And the server is like the brains of the operations. It's what stores all the content. It's what manages all the metadata. And it also runs all the search algorithms. It has those intelligent search algorithms that quickly respond to user requests and gives them the slides that they're looking for. Now that server can sit there are two options. Our standard offering is a cloud offering. So for small teams or medium-sized teams or even large teams that are okay using a cloud offering, they can get started immediately. With a few clicks, we can create an account for them, and they're off and running, and they're able to store content on the cloud. Now, there are some firms, both small and big, that prefer not to use a cloud offering, and for them, we can in fact put the TeamSlide server on their premise so that the information never leaves their firewalls, never leaves their premises, and that way, it can meet that requirement as well.
Yeah, so you can cover both scenarios, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. So if I have a presentation, how do I define which objects become searchable for my colleague, or which slides become searchable?
Sure, that's a great question. So when you have content, there are a couple of ways that you can make it available on TeamSlide. If you're an average user that's typically mostly using content, and once in a while you come up with a great slide that you want to share with your team, you can in fact just right-click on it in PowerPoint. You just right-click and say, upload to TeamSlide. And now this becomes available for your team to use.
Okay, as easy as that.
If you were, sorry?
As easy as that.
As easy as that, just a couple of clicks. You right-click on it. Actually, you can fill in some metadata like a description or tags. It actually auto-fills some of that for you. So it'll put the slide title as a description. If you're working on a specific project, let's say you're working on a mergers and acquisition project, you can set that as a default tag, and everything will get tagged with that information. Yeah. So that's a great way as you're working to share content, one-off content. But what if you have hundreds or thousands of slides? That becomes a little painful, right, to right-click on each one. We also have a web application which you can access through a browser. That web application is primarily used to manage users, set permissions, but you can also batch upload content. And so you can, select 100 files, drag and drop them into the web application. It'll upload them, start splitting them up into individual slides, and upload them very quickly. So you can get 1,000 slides uploaded in really no time at all.
Yeah, I tried that because Claudius gave me a trial account. I tried that. Yeah. Works quite impressively, by the way, I have to say.
Thank you. And I think what's also important is, we talked about cloud and on-premise versus cloud and the security there, but I think what's also equally important is security within your team. So through that web application, you can also set very detailed permissions. For example, you may want your senior employees full access. They can access any slide and make any changes, but your junior employees, perhaps they can only read from a certain file. Or if you're a consulting firm and you're working for Coca-Cola and you're working for Pepsi, maybe you want to create different access permissions so the Coca-Cola team can't access the Pepsi information. And so with TeamSlide, you can also control the flow within your team to ensure that it's secured that way as well.
Yeah, I worked back in the years, I worked for HP, and I can imagine that this is crucial. this is just crucial for huge companies, organizations, and enterprises in general. Permissions are one of the top requirements every single time.
Right. And I think another philosophy for us when considering these things, because as we started to layer on these capabilities, we wanted to make sure that the experience still stays simple. So the web application, the PowerPoint add-in, we continuously go back and say, is this intuitive? Is this simple enough? Because we have a wide range of users, people that are extremely comfortable with technology, people that are less comfortable with technology. Because after all, PowerPoint is used by a wide variety of people. And I think it's important that we go back and revisit that to make sure that it aligns with that philosophy of making it intuitive as we add features.
Yeah. So in general, how can people start using TeamSlide? What are the options there?
Really, the first option we tell people is just to come and get a trial. With that trial, they get access for about 30 days, and they can start uploading slides and start getting comfortable with it. They can invite a few users, maybe get 100 slides online quickly, and start understanding the benefits. Once they start to sort of realize the benefits, once they figure out that it's working for them, I think then there are more and more options. For example, if they're part of a large organization and maybe they have a content repository of thousands of presentations, for them it doesn't make sense to upload the slides one by one or even file by file or even 10 files at a time. And so for them, we can actually connect with their content repository. So we can start to integrate more and more with the way they work. So when we integrate with their content repositories, if they have 1,000, 10,000, or 100,000 files, suddenly all of that becomes searchable on a slide-by-slide basis.
Oh, that's crazy stuff.
Yeah, and so what that means is, let's say you're looking for a slide on Pepsi. Instead of just going to the Pepsi presentation and looking for that slide, it'll also search the beverage presentations. And so it'll find that Pepsi slide regardless of where it sits across all the different presentations.
Yeah, that's really cool. So in general, because I don't remember, is there any free plans or are all of the plans paid? What was the case there?
Yeah, so all the plans are paid, but there is a substantial trial period up front where we get users comfortable with it. We have a subscription model, which means users come back year after year and sort of pay on an annual basis as well. And so it's very important for us that users are comfortable with it and getting the value from it from day one. So we give them sufficient time to figure out how it's going to work for them before making a purchase decision. Because for both parties, it doesn't work out if they buy it and they don't use it. It's really important that adoption is important.
Of course. And so, what are the reactions of your customers, the people and the companies that already adopted TeamSlide? What are the results? What are they saying? What are you seeing?
Yeah, that's probably my most favorite part of the job is working with these customers. We get to see firsthand on a daily basis what an impact it has for them. And so we collect feedback in a couple of ways. First is we get a lot of unsolicited feedback where customers just reach out and say that this tool is fantastic. I was searching for this slide and it took me a third of the time to find it, or I didn't even know that this slide existed and I found it because of TeamSlide. And so that's always great to hear from customers, that unsolicited feedback. We also run surveys sometimes with the larger customers, detailed surveys about how they thought the user experience was, what productivity gains they were getting, and things like that, how it performed. And overwhelmingly, the feedback is extremely positive because they start to see those productivity gains, and as soon as you start saving people time, the positive feedback starts coming in. And I think the most important metric, though, is that our customers, our end users, are highly willing to recommend TeamSlide to their colleagues. And I think that says a lot about the quality of the product and the benefits it creates.
Yeah, and the value that it adds. Yeah, it's just whenever you are able to save people's time, that's important.
Exactly. And that's really the core focus is saving time and also improving output quality.
Yeah, it's crazy that the idea in general of TeamSlide is it's crazy cool because nowadays, I'm by the way, before I heard about the product, I was like, how is it possible that no one thought about the fact that it would be great to somehow search individual slides and individual objects? Because that makes so much sense. So much sense.
Yeah, we couldn't agree more. I think you have to suffer through it a few times before you start to realize the value it creates. And we were in a fortunate position that where we were both, in a sense, ideal users in our past lives, and we had the ability to create it too. And so hopefully that created a good synergy for us.
Yeah. So one last. What's coming up for TeamSlide? What's next?
Yeah, that's a great question. We prioritize our development pipeline based on customer feedback. So again, it's all about conversations with them, understanding how they're using it today. And once you sit down with the customer, you realize it's doing these great things for them, but it could also be doing so much more. And you start to, we have 100 different things we'd like to work on, but once you speak to the customer, it starts to narrow down. And I think, with that said, there are 3 primary areas that we're working on.
Okay.
The first is search relevancy. In order to save time, you need to make sure that the search works well. The best slides are showing up within the top 5 results. And search technology is always improving. Our capabilities are improving. And so it's important that we go back and keep improving on that. And so that'll be a near-term goal for the next 6 months or so.
Okay.
The second thing is presentation management. So we talked a lot about the importance of slides or visuals or charts like components on slides. But obviously, these often live within presentations, right? They're part of a broader story. So the question is, how do we help our customers also manage presentations? So do both manage the slides as well as the presentations that they belong to. And so that'll be an important area over the next few months. And then lastly, as I'd said before, as we add these capabilities, and there are lots of little features that we add, is the UI, is the user experience still simple? And we'll go back and revisit that on a consistent basis.
Yeah. Okay. So that's a pretty decent focus for the next 6 months, I have to say.
Yeah, and it's going to be fun. And I think again, the benefit of a subscription model is that our customers will get access to these features as soon as they're ready. Many customers sign up and want to be part of the pilot program. So if a customer, asks me for a simple feature, as soon as it's ready and sort of in beta mode, I'll give them early access so that they can start playing with it and provide some feedback and say, yes, this is exactly what I wanted, or no, in fact, you missed it completely for A. Can you work on this instead? So that's an important part of the process as well.
Yeah, so because again, when I saw the software, I was like, okay, for me that was a game changer, because I can immediately imagine how you can use it in a big corporation or even in a medium-sized company, or just in a company that just uses heavily PowerPoint, right?
Right.
Whenever you have so many slides, this software can be humongous time saver, and that's incredible. I will definitely make sure that people from that video and we actually wrote an interview with you guys. So hopefully all of our readers will find out about you and go for the trial, right? That's the first step.
Right.
Okay. And so hopefully they will improve and make their process more efficient, because if you can do it, why not?
No, exactly. And we appreciate, being part of your interview series, and hope that your customers learn about us, and if it's a great fit, we'd love to be able to help them as well.
Yeah, I'll make sure that whenever there is a business case for you guys, I know where to point. I can just say this email, write them, that's it. Too easy. Okay, thank you for your time. It was a pleasure. I believe that this is more than enough for the people to understand that there is a product like that. And so thank you very much again for your time. It was a pleasure. And I'll post this video together with everything that we spoke, and a link to the website. And hopefully people will go and check it out.
Thanks, Boris. We appreciate you taking the time to, and hope that we can work together more and more as time goes on.
Absolutely. Let's hope so. Okay, Kartik, leaving you now. Thanks again, and hope to see you soon.
Bye.
Bye.